everyone, my name is Arti and you're watching HW News. We cannot give hate any air. It is the role of a news anchor to see hate does not happen on air. Why was government mute Spectator when this was happening? Over the period of last many years, several citizens of the country have had this question, but now even the Supreme Court of India seems to agree. The apex court in the country yesterday voiced concern about rising instances of hate speech on air and lambasted the functioning of the TV news channels in the country. The court said that the TV news channels often give space to hate speech and escape without any sanction or reprimand. Not only that, the judges used an example of a news channel banned in the UK to drive home the point. What prompted Supreme Court's stern comments on TV news media and the role of the government? Let us find out in today's video, but before that, setting hate on air may be the method adopted by other news channels at HW News Network. We believe in honest and unbiased way of delivering and analyzing news. We do not depend on hate to drive up viewership in order to get advertisement, but we do depend on you. If you find our efforts genuine and worth it, then please support us. Go to our website www.hwnews.in/subscribe us. We have listed subscription options for you. You can choose the one that fits your pocket and pay us. Even the tiniest bit of contribution from you can help us go a long way. So please support us and pay us. Now, coming back to the story. A bench of Justices K.M. Joseph and Rishikesh Roy was yesterday hearing the case of Ashwini Upadhyay versus Union of India and others. It was hearing a batch of 11 writ petitions which seek the direction to regulate hate speech in the country. Among the batch were petitions filed against the UPSC Jihad show, which was aired by Sudarshan News TV, speeches made at Dharam Sansad meeting, and pleas seeking regulation of social media messages communalizing COVID pandemic. The justices said that anchors of television news channels have an important duty to ensure that guests invited on their show do not cross the line. The court said, and I quote, "Role of anchor is very important. These speeches on mainstream media or social media that is unregulated. Mainstream TV channels still hold sway. The role of anchor is very critical in this. It is their duty to see that hate speech does not happen." This is what Justice Joseph remarked. When the hearing started, Justice Joseph also asked whether there is any law against hate speech in India. To this, one of the petitioners, Ashwini Kumar Upadhyay, said that hate speech and rumor mongering is not defined under any law in the country at present. Then Justice Joseph moved to the central government and asked them what are the steps it is taking and why is it remaining a mute spectator. The court also suggested that an institution should be put in place which will be abided by all. It also sought response from the central government and asked it to clarify whether it proposes to act on the recommendation of the Law Commission of India regarding amendments to deal with the hate crimes. Now, meanwhile, the court also spoke about the role of television anchors and the role that they play. Making an observation in this regard, Justice Joseph said that the role of the anchor is very important. Hate speech, either it takes place in the mainstream television or it takes place in the social media. Social media is largely unregulated. As far as mainstream television channel is concerned, we still hold sway. There, the role of anchor is very critical because the moment you see somebody going into hate speech, it is the duty of the anchor to immediately see that he does not allow that person to say anything further. Unfortunately, many a times somebody wants to say something, he is muted, person is not given proper time, he is not even treated courteously. This is what he said. He further stated that while freedom of speech is important, hate speech cannot be allowed on the television. He said, freedom of expression of the press, we don't have it separately unlike the United States. There should be free debate, no doubt about it. You should also know where to draw the line because there is a huge difference, particularly with the visual media. They produce a very serious effect on your brain. The freedom is for the listener. The freedom of speech is actually for the benefit of the listener. How would the listener ever make up his mind after listening to a debate where it is just a babble of voice, you cannot even make out what is happening? Justice Joseph then also highlighted how TV news channels were heavily fined in the United Kingdom. He stressed that Law means sanctions, and these sanctions must be effected. The bench said that the court will consider laying down some guidelines which will hold the field until a legislature comes up with a law on the matter. He also gave a peek into what will the guideline entail. For example, when one conducts an interview, what is the methodology he or she is going to use? What is the methodology the anchor is going to use? What is the role of the anchor? If the anchor is going to take the lion's share of the time of the debate, if the question of the anchor is so long that finally the time which is given to a person who is giving the answer is so short. And even in that short period, he is actually run down, he is made into some kind of a rogue. Justice Joseph said that the anchor has to be fair to everyone, and that is what the court is interested in looking at apart from the contours of hate speech. But while India does not have any proper definition of hate speech, India does have a broadcast regulator, and the counsel for the body told the court about the cognizance it has taken on such matters and even levied penalty on some news anchors. The court was not too pleased with it. Justice Rishikesh Roy said that unless the consequences of infringement come hard on the person who is violating, how will the message go? The court noted that the broadcast regulator has passed 4,000 orders so far. Has there been any effect on the 4,000 orders that you have passed? That is what the court asked. He further said, that is, Justice Rishikesh Roy further said, hate drives TRPs, it drives profit. So this chicken feed kind of a penalty is flimsy. Their pockets will not even get a little tear there. This is what he said. To which Justice Joseph further said that the most important point is, where is our nation headed? If it is hate speech that we are actually feeding on, where is our nation headed? I think this question by Justice Joseph should sum up the concerns regarding what some news channels in the country are disseminating. And this concern was voiced by INB Minister Anurag Thakur too. He spoke about the shouty and polarizing news debates that are held on mainstream TV news channels which affect the credibility of the news channel. He went on to the extent of saying that the biggest threat to the mainstream media is mainstream media itself and not digital media. News media is conscience keeper of our nation. Its job is to act as a watchdog. But who will keep the conscience of the news media? Who will be their watchdog? Who will be the watchdog of news anchors? Supreme Court has taken note of the matter. I hope the mainstream news media will take it as a lesson and take action to course correct as well. Meanwhile, do let us know what you think about the guidelines that the Supreme Court is talking about for news anchors, the methodology that they are using. What do you think about that? Should it be in place? Do let us know in the comment box below. For more news and updates, you can log on to www.hwnews.in.